हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। मैं हूं आरजे और आप देख रहे हैं द आरजे शो। तो भैया, आपको अभी तक नहीं पता तो मैंने अपना फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू लिया था मिस्टर विजय शेखर शर्मा का, हु इज द फाउंडर एंड सीईओ ऑफ पेटीएम। अबे रुकना यार। तो आज मैं एक और बिलियनर का इंटरव्यू लेने वाला हूं। रुको, आप रुको। So he's a billionaire with a net worth of $1.25 billion, best known as founder and former CEO of GitHub. अब जिनको यार GitHub पता नहीं क्या है तो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है समझाना, बट बेसिकली ये समझ लो कि इट हेल्प्स पीपल टू कोलैबोरेट ऑन प्रोजेक्ट्स। अभी के लिए इतना ठीक है। सो आई गेस नाम तो मैंने अब तक बताया ही नहीं। सो ही इज मिस्टर टॉम प्रेस्टन वार्नर। सो हुआ यूं कि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्वायर्ड गिटहब फॉर $7.5 बिलियन। $7.5 बिलियन भैया। हाँ, सो तब से ही इज working on his next company by the name of Chatterbug, that is basically a language learning app. So I'm sure बहुत लोग को जानना होगा कि how I got a chance to talk to him. वो मैं अगला वीडियो में बताऊंगा। So अभी तक अगर सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो कर लो और वीडियो स्टार्ट करते हैं। सो क्योंकि आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन इंटरेस्टेड इन स्टार्टअप्स और बिजनेस, सो मैं सोचा उनसे पूछूं इफ ही कैन गिव सम
entrepreneurial advice. Well, first you have to start something, right? So maybe that's tip number one is start something, anything. Because if you don't, then you'll never succeed by any, no matter, right? That's in order to have to succeed, you have to have the goal. And if you never start anything, then what would your goal be as far as starting a company, being an entrepreneur? So start something, and maybe you start a thing and it doesn't work out within a week or two, and so you're like, okay, well that didn't work, but I tried, and then you try another thing. When I was younger, I tried all kinds of things, and many of them didn't work. When I was just working for myself doing consulting, and I tried all kinds of ideas, and very few of them worked, right? And then I did Gravatar, and Gravatar kind of worked but didn't make money, but that got me up to San Francisco to work for a company. And then that got me to starting GitHub. So, and none of those things would have worked if I hadn't started. So thing number one is start lots of things. There's a great quote by the chemist Linus Pauling, who said, the best way to have a good idea is to have a lot of ideas. And so that is that piece of advice, which is you have to try lots of things. You're not just going to pick an idea and have it work the first time. It's just not plausible. Like there's too much to learn. There's too many things that you need to experience before the idea that's going to take you where you want to get is going to come from, right? Like GitHub was like the 17,000th idea that I had, right? It's never just the first thing. So just keep trying, right? Like try and try. So iteration. And the second thing I would say is be very careful about the team that you build and the people that you have on it, because that's going to be a huge determiner of success or failure. Most companies fail not because the product is something that wouldn't work, it's because the teams fall apart. And so you have to find people that you're going to be able to work with together for the long term, because if you start a company and it's successful, you could be doing it for 10, 20, 50 years, right? And those people can change, but in the early days, if you change too much of the people too quickly, then it's a huge amount of turmoil. And so finding those people that are willing to dedicate themselves to something that you get along with, and that's probably the hardest part. And again, this goes into trying things out. The more that you try things out and can start creating communities and meeting people, the more of those kinds of people that you will meet, that that you could start a company with if you wanted to. So networking is really important. Being out there, going to meetups. It's hard right now, but doing things online, just finding people who are like you and interested in the same things and getting to know them a little bit, so that when the time comes to start putting a team together, you could find a few people that you would want to do that with. And I guess another tip would be when you do start a company, start it with other people so that it's not just you. I've known a number of people that have started companies by themselves and they're always miserable because they always feel like the entire future of the company is on their shoulders. There's no one to help them carry that load or who they feel like they can talk to that has an equal level, right? If you're the founder, CEO, and it's just you, and then you hire some people underneath you, those people will always be your employees. They'll never be equals. The only people in a company when you're a founder are other founders. And so if you can start a company with other founders, then you have those other people that you can talk to like a normal person and have a normal relationship and not a employer-employee relationship. And then you just automatically get more dedication from people that are founders because they created it too. They have a much larger equity stake if that's a thing that you're doing. And that can take you a long way. And then that's maybe 3, but I'll add another one. This is Paul Graham and Y Combinator say this all the time. And it's so obvious when you say it, but clearly true, is build something that people want, right? Like if you don't build something that people want, you're sort of screwed. No amount of marketing will ever get you to the point where you can trick so many people to buy the thing that you built, even though they don't want it. That's going to lead to a success, or at least a success that you want, right? Like you could be fraudulent about it and maybe reach some level of success, but don't think that I would count a fraudulent success as a real success.
So next question ये था कि what was his biggest challenge of growing GitHub from a startup to a community of millions of software developers?
There were many challenges. I think the biggest challenge is just dealing with people. I mean, computers are easy, but people are hard. So we started pretty slowly. There were 4 co-founders, and then we grew the company very slowly after that. And for the first 4 years, we were bootstrapped. So we didn't have a lot of capital to go out and hire a bunch of people initially, which I think was good. That kind of slow growth allowed us to be more deliberate and make sure that we were focusing on our customers. But when things get bigger, when we were 100 people and 200 people, then you start having to worry a lot more about people, individuals, and how they communicate, how you communicate to them as a founder and CEO. A lot of my job became communication more than it did building directly. And this is just the journey of a software developer turning into a CEO of a larger company, is just learning how to set vision, how to set values, and guide the company in the direction that you think it needs to go based on what you know from the business perspective. And it just becomes very challenging and you also have to have enough confidence to really make decisions about where you want to go. Like any company has a lot of opportunities. You can go a lot of different directions, and the company's counting on you as a CEO founder to make the right decisions. And you often don't have complete information. You're in a new market, maybe the world's changing. And so you do the best that you can, but you still have a lot of unknowns in front of you. And so it becomes about asking the right questions and trying to figure out what that direction is and then communicating it. That to me, I think, was the hardest part.
So क्योंकि उन्होंने काफ़ी सक्सेसफुल कंपनी स्टार्ट की, मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये था उनसे कि व्हाट इज हिज प्रोसेस ऑफ कमिंग अप विथ न्यू आइडियाज.
My process is, I think it starts with just being really interested in something. So when it comes to something like, most of my projects are around software development. And I think it starts with being really interested and seeing where the edges of that area are. So like what is possible? And then I think exploring the edge of that possible. It's just being aware of those edges and then thinking about where you could improve them. And always looking out for where things are terrible, right? Like this is where opportunity comes from. Opportunity comes from when the current solutions are not good enough. So anytime you're frustrated with something, that's a good thing to note and say, like, this process is terrible, or this piece of software is terrible, or this product is terrible, whatever it is that's giving you that sort of feeling of like, why is this so bad, or why is this so hard? Or in the case of Chatterbug, which is my current startup for learning foreign languages, it's why is it so hard to learn a foreign language? Like, why are all these products terrible. Even the ones that are well designed, like Duolingo, end up being really ineffective. And so the question is like, why is this so hard? Like, why has nobody used technology to solve this problem in a better way? Right. And then it's okay, well, let's create a digital platform for learning languages that also connects you with real people so you can practice speaking the language. So that's usually how I do it. And then, I mean, I have a million ideas for things that could be done, but most of them stay at this low level of like, yeah, but that would be super hard because of, these preconditions, or it would require a lot of capital investment. And like, am I ready to take that kind of a risk, or all these things? And then at some point though, I'll reach a point where I just feel like it has to be done. And then I'll take the first step, and then I'll see how that goes, and then keep taking more steps if that works. And it becomes this sort of ongoing commitment.
So मेरा next question ये था कि what is his definition of success?
I don't think there is one kind of success. Success can mean whatever you want it to mean. And I think it can change over time too, right? Like for me, when I think about success in any of the projects or things that I do in life, it's about achieving something that I haven't yet achieved. So at one point I really wanted to be my own boss and start a company. And so I've done that. And so I count that as a certain success. I created a product that a lot of people wanted to use. That's a level of success. But I think there's an unlimited number of points in time where you can strive for success. It's really about setting a goal and then achieving it. So maybe that's what it is for me, is success is achieving a goal that you set for yourself or some specific thing.
So thank you so much for watching this video. अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो कर लो. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. ओके बाय.